Okay. All right. Welcome. This is the Stone Trust Indoor Center. Okay. And so in this center here, we have the only indoor training facility for dry stone walling in North America. And this wall I'm standing against right now is a level 3 test wall that's in here. It gets rebuilt occasionally, but it's also a great example of very high quality craftsmanship for dry stone walling. We've got a feature here which is called a lunky, and it's a traditional passage through a wall that was used by farmers when they're moving sheep from one field to another rather than needing to build a gate. They could just open this up, put sheep through, and then it'd often be a big slab of stone or some rubble to fill it when they don't want sheep to be in there. On the side of the screen here that we're getting into, this is a curved wall, level 3 test feature. Very challenging to do to a high degree of precision, so that the curve is super even and smooth. On the top of the wall, some of you may not be familiar, these are called copestones, these vertical stones. And by setting stones like this vertically, it's a very strong wall finish. You've got all this weight, equivalent weight of a 12-inch thick stone being on top of your wall. But the advantage of setting them vertically then is you get to pound some shims in between, and they're tremendously well locked in. You've got friction not just on the bottom, but between the lengths. Sometimes they're left pretty jagged and rough, overhanging, crenellated as additional discouraging factors to keep animals, or in some cases people, from crossing over a wall. You can see traditional walls, the through stones are often left to protrude a little bit. Those are stones that go all the way through the wall. And then we're going to head this way, we're going to look at some of the other features in the barn here. This is a section of wall that just has flat covers on it without the copestones. And then as we come into the barn here, you can see the inside of the wall. This is super cool. This is what a double stack wall looks like. You've got sort of 2 stacks of face stones going up either side, and the core of the wall is filled with harding, we call it. And it's the small broken chips of stone. Not so small that you can shovel it. If you can shovel it, it's too small, but filling the voids between the stones, it locks everything together. Halfway up in the wall, you get into some nice through stones. These are traditionally placed about 3 feet on center, down the length of the wall, and it ties the 2 sides together. Keep building. This is up higher in the wall, called your second lift. Below the through stones is your first lift. And up on top, you get your cover band of stones. Nice flat stones. And then your copestones could go on top of that. Alright, so coming down here, we're going to move over here. We've got a nice long section of wall indoors here. So this is used for workshops and tests. This wall in the last 3 weeks has come down and been rebuilt 3 times already. And what we have is when you're building for a level 1 test, you take out a section of wall that's 27 square feet. So this wall being about 5 feet high, it's going to be a little more than 5 feet long. So from that yellow line that's chalked on there to about where I'm standing here, you're going to take that down and rebuild it to a good degree of construction, and that's a level 1 test to do that in 7 hours successfully. At the end of this wall here, we have a cheek end. And a cheek end, I'm just going to move this shirt that we have here. We've got the cheek end here. And on a cheek end here we have where we have tie stones crossing across the wall to tie the 2 faces together. And then running down the side, you have runner stones, and they alternate with the tie stones so that the wall is tied back into the cheek end's tied back into the wall so that the end of the wall won't fall away. So it's very critical that these are built very strong. And this is a level 2 test. To take this down and rebuild it, including a section of wall back to about where I'm standing here, this would be your level 2 test to take this down and rebuild it in 7 hours. From that cheek end all the way to here. When you get to the level 2 test, the level of quality of build, the smoothness of the sides, how structurally sound it is, in order to pass, goes way up from level 1. It's a challenging test to do in 7 hours. If we turn here, we can see that we've got 2 fellows working on practicing for their level 2 test. And they're doing right now a pre-test. They come into the barn and they're able to practice for their test and see how it goes, getting a chance to work with the stone before they actually examine it. So they're going to be testing here later this week. Part of a level 2 test is knowing how to construct a batter frame. there's all different methods of constructing batter frames. This is a beautiful one that was done here. And that allows you to use your guide strings so that you can keep the sides of your wall nice and smooth as you're building up.
And that's a requirement that they have to do in order for their testing. They have to know how to build their batter frames.
Absolutely. Building your batter frame and setting up your string lines is one of the major hurdles to a level 2 test. It's important that you can do that efficiently, as well as not just be able to do it, but you're on the clock to do that. So you need to have a batter frame that you can set up fast, and it's going to be true and even. Okay, in the barn here, just a little bit of history on this. This is the dairy barn from the Scott farm here. This barn dates back to 1862. This was originally the dairy barn where the cows were in this space. This space had a concrete floor in it with gutters. It actually, on top of that, had a cork flooring. It was one of the first barns in Vermont, I believe, that had that. And when the Stone Trust came to the space, we did a lot of renovation work. Taking out that concrete floor, we had to replace all the columns. There was a lot of water damage in here, and we had to deal with that. The columns were all rotted out. There were structural issues. We got wiring, we got plumbing stubbed in for the space here. And it's really become the home of dry stone walling in the Northeast. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.